This is part 2 of our AI Saas website creation in Go High Level, and in this video we are gonna create this cool looking pricing section as well as these frequently asked questions sections. So let's get started with this pricing section. So the first thing we have to do is to go here and duplicate this section, and then let's delete the column element that we don't need, this one and also this one. And also let's change the background. Actually, let's skip the background. I think this would look much interesting. Next thing in line is to change this text to pricing, let's say, and also this one to this text. Obviously we don't want the entire text to be bolded, so let's just keep it like this. I think this looks pretty cool. And I also changed this text to something else that I think would look much nicer. Again, we don't need this to be bolded. Perfect. Now that we have our section headline and description, it's time for us to add the pricing plans. And we are gonna start by creating a one column element, and let's actually make this the row taking the entire width, and I want to change this to 80% instead of 100%, and the same goes here in this row element, 8%. This is just so it looks better on my monitor and better on video, but again, you can adjust these settings however you want if you decide to create such a website. Good. The next thing in line is to go into this element, this row element, and add a headline. Let's make it white for now, because we want to see something. Then we want to add a subheadline. Let's copy this by duplicating it and then moving it down here. And let's also add another headline, because this is gonna be our pricing. And you'll see in just a second how we are gonna turn this ugly text into a really cool pricing text. And below this, obviously, we need to add a bullet list for our features, right? Every plan needs to have some features. So let's change the color to white, and let's change the icon to this color that we've used previously. And let's also change the icon, because we don't want to use that check, so maybe we can use this star right here. Perfect. Now, as you can see, it looks really ugly, but obviously we can change it. But first, let me play around with this for a second, like this. Let's go into the advanced and change the line height to 2. Perfect. And let's also add a nice button, and we are gonna use this exact button that we've used previously in the previous episode. So let's try to move it from there slowly but surely into our newly created section, just like this. And perfect. Now we have our first pricing plan card. But if you look here, ours looks totally off and really ugly compared to this one that I've shown you in the video intro. But bear with me, because we are gonna use some cool custom code to create these nice looking effects, and also this interesting looking border for the most popular plan that we want the users to actually purchase. But first, let me copy this text, and then we are gonna focus on the custom code. Perfect. Now that we've added text, we need to use this class right here, hash1 or hash2, depending on what text we have. Copy the video, pause the video and copy this class that you see on screen, and this one, obviously we don't want red, so let's get rid of that. This one will apply a different font size of, let's say, part of our text, and you'll see in just a second what I mean. First, let's change this to 50, and also let's change this to 50. We want to look really cool, and let's select this one, make it bold, and then go into the advanced, and in the custom class section paste this class, and obviously we need to change it from H2 to H1. And now, as you can see, all of a sudden it looks much nicer than before, because we have the actual price big, and per month it's a bit smaller. Again, let's change it to 50 because it reset. Perfect, and now it looks like this. Now let's select the entire section and let's add a border, full border, 1 pixel, this color, because we want to have a similar border to these cards right here that we've created previously. And let's add a border radius of 25 pixels. And now it should look like this. Obviously, if we want the same effect from here, we can use these classes right here, glowing element and color 1. So let's add them as well, glowing element and color 1. Perfect. And now if we save, preview it, as you can see, we have a nice looking pricing card that we can use into our AI Saas website. Here we need to make some changes, but don't worry. And now it's time to duplicate this card 2 times and then add the text for the rest of the pricing plans. First, let's change this to 70%, so this one looks better, or 75 maybe. Yeah, 75. Okay, and now let's duplicate this card, but before we duplicate it, we need to add the padding. Forgot about this. Padding 40 on all sides. And let's add a 20 pixels margin left and right. And now we can duplicate it. 1 and 2. And as you can see, we have all our pricing plans. We can add here pro, agency, whatever it is. I won't bother to change all the texts in here because you get the point. You just add your description, pricing. Let's add here 79 and here 199, something like that, and then all the benefits and features for every single pricing plan that you have. And yeah, that's pretty much it with the pricing plans in itself. Now let's add this cool border to our pro plan, and the way we do this is again by using some custom code. And again, pause the video and copy what you see on screen, this class with this border. As you can see, 50 pixels top, and then we have 2 pixels everywhere else. We can actually change it to 3 maybe. I think it looks really nice. And let's click save and see what we got. Obviously we need to select the actual column, go to the advanced and copy the border custom class, and as you can see, we have something like this. Obviously you can play around with it and also add some inner border to the element that's inside this column. I think it's border custom dot inner or something like that, but we're not gonna mess around with it in this video. So yeah, this is how it looks so far. One more thing that we have to do is to change the button to make it stand out a bit more and this is how it looks so far. A pretty nice looking pricing section that you can add today in your Go High Level website, and I'm sure your clients will be really impressed by how this one looks. Let's move on to the FAQ section, and how we are gonna do this is by again duplicating this existing section and deleting everything that we don't need. We change here FAQ, and let me change some text here. Perfect, we've added the text. Now let's change this to not bold, and maybe just this one or bold, and I think it looks pretty nice. And obviously below this we need to add another column, and inside this column, obviously if we make it 80%, we can add our FAQ section. And as you can see, it looks really ugly, but we can change it by clicking on this FAQ type separated, yeah, and then advanced, and let's change the colors. We don't want the title to be blue, we want it maybe purple-ish something, and then let's make this all transparent. Content text color, let's keep it white. Content background color transparent. Title text color purple or white when it's closed. Title background closed, we want it to be transparent, and color purple. Expand color, border color, yeah, maybe like this. We'll see. Button border actually. And I think this is how it looks. If we click on this one, yeah, looks pretty nice, I think. And again, let me add some text in here, and we're gonna move on from there. And perfect, last section is done, and this is how it looks so far. Let's go into the advanced tab and change the font options to, let's say 30, I said, not 39, 30 for this one. Font weight, I want it to be bold, and this one maybe 18, I'd say, and also bold. Perfect. And color options, I don't think, yeah, we don't have any other options, but this one looks pretty nice. Let's save it and let's see how it looks on the real website. And this is how it looks. Maybe we can get rid of this purple glow in the background, but other than that, I think it looks pretty nice. What do you think? Now let's do the last part of this video, which is the footer, and with that I think we have the first page done, besides the mobile version, which I think we are gonna tackle in the next video. But until then, let's make the changes that I talked about. So we don't want the background here, so we remove the custom class, and let's create a new section. And in this section we can add two columns. In this column we can add social media icons, let's say something like this, and in here we can add a subheadline with 14 pixels and maybe a dark gray or something like this. And as for the text, let me add this one. Perfect. And this is a simple footer that we can add to our website. Obviously, we can add below this, let's say, privacy policy page policy, or cookie policy, or whatever other pages we want to add in here. And we can also save the footer as a global section, and let's call it footer, so that if we need to edit it in a different page, we can make the changes once and it will look the same on the entire website. and same goes for the header as well, because I forgot to do this in the previous episode. So let's save it in the global sections, header, and save, and also click save here, and perfect. And I think we are done for this episode. If you are curious how I created this cool looking feature section and also this nice hero section, you can watch part 1 of this series here.